I love movies. One of my earliest memories was going to see Cars in our local small theater. Afterwards, I told the owner that I was going to work there one day. When I was 15 years old, I started working there and I learned about the industry, ate a ton of popcorn, and enjoyed free movies during my high school years. However, I have never made a list of my 10 favorite movies, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. These rankings are based on what the films mean to me and my personal attachment to them. This is my list. I would love to hear yours, and let's get into it. Before getting started, I want to include some honorable mentions since choosing 10 movies was very difficult. These honorable mentions include Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which has some of my favorite jokes that I constantly quote with my best friends.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
What do you mean? An African or European swallow?
Huh? I don't know that.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is my favorite Harry Potter film and a masterclass in shifting narratives in a franchise. Inglourious Basterds is my favorite Tarantino film, and despite being an action movie, it has some of the best dialogue scenes in movie history.
Drei Gläser.
Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite superhero film and pulls off the rare task of properly using a lot of licensed music in the movie, which is something that not every movie can do.
Chow time!
It's time.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Finally, Ford vs. Ferrari is one of the best sports biopics of all time, with Matt Damon and Christian Bale putting up amazing performances.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Although I think Empire Strikes Back is a more important movie to the Star Wars franchise, Revenge of the Sith is my go-to Star Wars movie. This might be nostalgia talking, but the battle above Coruscant, lightsaber duels, memeable dialogue, and the ending of this movie being the perfect end to the Skywalker saga.
Rey Skywalker.
What? How can you say this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
Puts Revenge of the Sith above Empire Strikes Back for me.
Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space.
The first time I watched Interstellar was over my first Christmas vacation away from my family. For personal reasons, I stayed at college, and the scene of Cooper crying to Murph's video messages struck a chord with me. And as I was alone in my dorm room, I just realized that family was one of the most important things to me in this world. Plus, this space epic from Christopher Nolan never disappoints. Before continuing, I was just wondering if you could show this video some love, subscribe to my channel, and help me build a community of movie and TV lovers. It is really hard being a small creator on YouTube, and any love goes a long ways. Plus, subscribing is free, and it will help me to create more videos for you.
I can take his place.
As a Catholic man, Triumph of the Heart really made me more confident in my faith. I traveled to Poland and Auschwitz in 2023, and the depiction of Saint Maximilia Kolbe's time in the concentration camp really broke me. This movie reminds me of how beautiful the Christian faith can be, and that every human being is filled with goodness and the choice of whether or not they will exercise that ability. My fiance and I went to see this, and we were sobbing in the theater by the end. And although it feels more like an experience than a movie, I think everyone should see it at least once.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
Similarly to the first Blade Runner movie, Blade Runner 2049 tackles the question of what it means to be human. However, I think the reason that this movie resonated with me, aside from its great storytelling, beautiful world, and thought-provoking questions, is that it subverts the Chosen One narrative by making the audience believe that Kay is the Chosen One, and instead at the very end, it is revealed that he is just another replicant, who gives his life in a selfless act for the rebellion. This was a twist done properly, and I really appreciate that the film had the tenacity to pull it off.
Makushla means my darling.
Despite winning Best Picture, I believe that $1 Million Baby is the most underrated sports film of all time. I think I love this movie so much due to its actual reflection on what life is really like and reminds us that success is never guaranteed. Hilary Swank as Maggie Fitzgerald is everything that you want in your protagonist and is so easy to root for. And the final scene between her and Frankie breaks me every time.
Doc, are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
On a much happier note, the first time I ever watched Back to the Future was on October 21st, 2015, as AMC had an all-day marathon to celebrate Back to the Future Day. And after school, I came home and watched the entire trilogy. This movie has been described as a perfect movie, and to me, it truly is. The jokes are great, and it's such an easy film to watch. However, what really resonated with me from this trilogy and what starts in the first film is that changing your path in life is doable, and with a little luck, you might drastically change where you end up.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
The Princess Bride is probably the first movie that I will introduce to my kids, as it is my favorite comedy of all time. I will randomly quote this movie to my fiance without her knowing, which is a little bit of fun for me. But the setup of this movie is what really sets it apart for me, as the context of a grandfather reading the fairy tale to his sick grandson to me is perfect. This is a movie that you can just put on and enjoy with great scenes, laughs, and characters.
I'm always gonna love you.
I'm always gonna love you too.
The first time I sat down to watch La La Land, I got about 10 minutes through the movie and just thought it was another chick flick. Little did I know that this movie was going to have my favorite ending of all time. In the end, Seb and Mia both achieved their dreams, but lose each other to get what they want. This is another movie that reminds us that we will not achieve everything we desire in life, and that sometimes we have to let people go so that they can become who they desire to be. Life is not a fairy tale, but a beautiful journey where our choices matter.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Good Will Hunting resonates with me for two very different reasons. Firstly, I grew up in a small town and knew there wasn't much opportunity for me where I was, but at the same time, it was scary to leave and go off on my own. Secondly, although I have never struggled in my life as much as Will did, the themes of loving who you are and finding yourself will always speak to me, especially in this social media world where we compare ourselves to others and are told that we are not good enough. But Good Will Hunting reminds us to pursue the life that we want, to love ourselves, and to take risks.
There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
However, if you were to ask me what my favorite movie of all time is, it would have to be Whiplash. The pacing of this movie is incredible, the tension, and the stakes delivered by the relationship of Andrew Neiman and Terrence Fletcher feels so real. Additionally, this movie addresses my favorite question of all time: is the price of greatness worth it? And I always used to think yes, but after some reflection and growth, I think it depends on the situation. J.K. Simmons' performance in this movie is what puts it over the top for me, and while this is not the easiest film to watch, it is my favorite. Hello everybody, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for making it to the end of this video. Once again, if you could show this video some love and help me out with the algorithm, I would appreciate it deeply. And if you are interested in any more videos, here's one specifically for you. Thank you and God bless.